Hey, what's going on, guys and gals? It's Lazy here from Project WMD, bringing another latest news feed video. Apparently, in the Jimmy Falcon show, when they were showing Battlefield 3, conspiracies show that the game will only support 720p. Now, it's just a rumour for probably a couple of hours, and then EA have actually come out and actually announced it, that the game will only run 720p support for consoles. Now that is really, I suppose, a disadvantage, when you're comparing it to the PC version, which is probably like way more 1080p, it's like ultra definition. But anyway, I really don't know why they only put it to 720p. Possibly, perhaps, because they ported it over to the consoles. It's a bit more difficult for the coding to make it 1080p. Who knows? I'm pretty sure the game is going to be kick-ass. I mean, the game did look absolutely kick-ass at the Jimmy Falcon show that was shown, I believe, a couple of days ago, showing Battlefield 3. Looks absolutely kick-ass. Cannot wait for the game. The PC version is going to be kick-ass as well. Yeah, 720p. What do you think about it? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? I mean, there's not much difference really between 1080p and 720p. I think it's just a little bit of the colour scheme, and possibly perhaps it's more clearer to see. But apart from that, there's no difference. Stop your whining, yeah, whining, that's what I meant to say, yeah. Okay, despite that we haven't read much from this article, a couple of hours ago the Los Angeles Supreme Court announced that the Activision and Zelda and West lawsuit will move on. Now, if you don't know what I'm on about, then last year, March 2010, one of the biggest lawsuits in the gaming industry, and possibly perhaps not just the gaming industry, the business industry, the lawsuit between Activision and Infinity Ward former bosses Jason West and Vincent Zappella went up on the rise because Activision fired Zappella and West because they were accused of making Modern Warfare 2 unbalanced, stealing money, probably going behind their back to EA. And after they were fired, Zappella and West went under the wings of EA and they formed their own company called Respawn Entertainment, which are apparently making a Call of Duty killer and a Halo killer, which sounds really interesting. But anyway, let's not talk about that. But anyway, the Supreme Court has announced that they are going to set the court stage a bit more lower because they want to stop it and they want to move on. Quoted, the Supreme Court, and apparently Zappella and West could go on trial, but not much has been announced. Again, this thing's just getting out of hand now. I think they just should stop. I think if they're going to go under Respawn Entertainment, then let them do it. I think Activision's got bigger things to worry about than probably Zappella and West. And so for Zappella and West, I mean, they've got to do what they got to do in Respawn Entertainment, making the Halo and Call of Duty killer. But anyway, the link's in the description if you want to read it out. There's not much to say. They just go through the highlights of what happened between the court case. If you don't know, then I'd highly recommend you read it, because some of you are like, what are you on about? I thought Zappella and West are making Modern Warfare 3. No, new companies are. But anyway, the link's in the description if you want to read it out. Highly recommend if you haven't heard about it. But again, we'll see what happens between Zappella and West and Activision. If they do go on trial, that's for starters. Alright, to end the show, I will be doing a game review, and I'll be reviewing one of the most anticipated games for the Nintendo 3DS, which is indeed the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3DS. Improving upon the perfection is not exactly an easy job, but yet the task falls before Nintendo and co-developers of the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. The original Ocarina of Time was debuted nearly 13 years ago, which included IGN as one of the best games of all time. And it was a milestone for this achievement, redefining how we view Zelda games, because if you didn't know, Zelda was just a 2D sort of pixelized game. Couldn't even understand what was going on, but you could, but you know, they changed it. So again, redefining how we see revolutionary, how the Zelda games see us. Is it possible to remake a game that was like one of the greatest in the Nintendo 64s? It is possible, due to the satisfied audiences, and new turns out to be new, if that does make any sense. Yes, for the most part, what the team and Nintendo managed to hear is spectacular yet conservative, respectful upgrade. There are minor issues, including the way that things look that could have been improved, but again, that's not a worry. The game still revolutionized how we see Zelda on the handheld. There are a few minor issues, including some of the areas and graphics that could have been received in an extra boost. While this lulls by the line between enhanced old game mending, which seems a fault between the engine, because again they use I suppose they tweaked the Nintendo 64 engine really high, and they've got a bit of minor issues, but that's not the problem. Graphics will be the main focus on buying the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, because graphics, again, they set the bar for the Nintendo 3DS, because the Nintendo 3DS probably will never have graphics like Ocarina of Time will. As the biggest game made for Nintendo's biggest showcase for the young 3DS's abilities thus far, it's the same game as it's ever been. Locations, structures, characters has been all presented, including dungeons, how they look, characters, how they look, bosses, how they look. They all look exactly the same, which again sets a high, pretty bar, because that's what we want in the Zelda game. That's what we want in a revolutionized, I suppose, a revamped HD game. Animations are built from ground up, so they've not changed absolutely anything, and they have been satisfied and revised. You can also recognize everything and anything, but you'll see them as you originally met them. So everything is exactly the same as you saw it in the Nintendo 64 version. Absolutely amazing. I think presentation wise, absolutely amazing. Gameplay, outstanding. I mean, you'd think that the controls would be dodgy because it's on the 3DS. Plus, if you did play on the 64, you understand how, well, you got to get used to the controls. You don't have to get used to the controls at all. They're easy to pick up, and I recommend buying this game no matter what. Ever look behind the scenes for the art of Ocarina of Time and wonder the things went wrong for Moblin? Well, even Link himself. Nintendo have added new features, new in-game features, such as like unlockable art. You can even do time challenges to defeat bosses. I think they've added so many new things in the Zelda game, and I'm really looking forward to having a look at this game myself. Although I probably won't be buying it because I haven't really got time to be playing these games really. The link's in the description if you want to read the actual written review from IGN yourself. I definitely rate this a 10 out of 10, and this is possibly has to be the best, probably the most anticipated and the best Nintendo 3DS game they'll ever make. I recommend you buying this game. If you haven't played this on the Nintendo 64, then you're missing out. I advise you to play this game. It's absolutely amazing. It's far the best Zelda game I've ever played. I mean, I've played Ocarina of Time, played Twilight Princess, I've played Majora's Mask, played all the handheld ones. This has to be the best one I've ever played.